RJ Crochet vlogcast. Hello, how are you? You alright? Terribly sorry it's been such a long time since I last did an episode. It's been super frantic. My name is Rosina, in case you didn't know, and I'm a crochet designer coming to you from the southwest of the UK, where it is a stonkingly beautiful day. It's amazing. I've been out for a walk with my friend. I've done my 10,000 steps. I have about 45 minutes until the school run, where I am going to go and pick up a nearly 9-year-old boy. He's my son. It's not just any random child. And then the other one can make his own way home whenever he fancies, after school has finished. He goes to a different school because he goes to big school now. I'm going to talk about this stuff, okay? Just to give you a little bit of a contents page right at the beginning. Here it is. This is what we're going to talk about. And a couple of other bits and bobs, I'm sure. I have a list of things to talk about, but to be honest with you, it's quite short. It involves most of that. But let's get cracking. At the moment, out with my fabulous testers who are... We've created ourselves a lovely community on Instagram with a test chat group, which is brilliant. So if you do garment tests ever, it's my second time where I've done an Instagram group chat, so everybody can share their ideas and comments about the pattern as they work it, helping each other out. And if I'm asleep and somebody else is on the other side of the world and they've got a question, maybe somebody else will answer it whilst I'm asleep. I noticed a crochet hook on the floor. So out with testers at the moment is See My Vest. Do you know the song? See my vest, made of real gorilla chest. It's from The Simpsons. This is the second time I've named something after a Simpsons something. Like I'm some sort of super fan. I'm not. It's just it just sort of sticks in your head. I don't know. So here we have. This is actually the back, because I did a lot of joining here in the centre of the back, and you can see, because it's a hodgepodge thing, and that's where you kind of go and do your turn and go back. So it's very deliberate, which actually, if you were to do a hodgepodge version, don't do that. Join it in various different bits, various different places, to avoid any deliberate lines. But so what we have here is a granny vest made of DK acrylic. This one is a DK acrylic of all sorts of different brands, and it's inside out, but this gives you an idea. This one is my sample number 1, so there's a couple of elements which are different to the actual final. This one, for example, didn't really have a plan as I started it, and so actually I started here. Hence you can see a foundation line of green, and then I joined this on as an afterthought, but actually the real pattern starts with this and then goes up. Little things like that you don't think about as you're working and making. You don't really think about the different ways in which you can construct a garment, and it's not until the end that you go, oh yeah, I could do that differently. So this is my first one I did. Can't remember why exactly. Lots of different things sort of all converged and meant that, aha, I'm going to make a granny vest. It was things like stash busting was one thing. I needed a project to use as homework for a grading course I did with Nomad Stitches. Brilliant grading course, by the way. I think I talked about it last episode. Lots of information about construction and whatnot. There was a couple of other things that all kind of came together and made me go, ha 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 ha, vest. Gotta make myself a granny vest. So I did. But I thought it would be quick. I thought it would be quite quick to do for my homework. Oh yeah, a granny garment, one with no sleeves to worry about. That'll be a doddle, I thought. It's quite difficult shaping the arms, I can tell you. So this was sample number 1, and then sample number 2 I actually did. Oh, that was the other thing. I wanted to use some yarn I got for Christmas from Amanda, who is Queen Ambrosia. And I wanted to use some yarn that she'd given me for Christmas. So I thought, oh, I know, I'll make a granny vest out of it. And so that's this one. So this one's slightly shorter. By the time I got to this one, I had tweaked it to make it shorter in the body. But then I made the sleeves not so in, they were a bit more out. But it turns out I didn't like that because this happens. And so I went back to the drawing board and brought them in again so that they don't fall off. So the actual final pattern I've written, they're not where they sit here. They sit in a bit more, so they're not going to go bloop. You don't think about things like that. And then I think also I wanted a good old armhole. So I've tweaked that as well. But just things like as well how you shape around the contours of your body. It's all elements that I considered each time I made a different sample. So this one's sample number 2, shorter in the body because according to the Craft Yarn Council, if you measure from the nape of your neck to your waist, it's a certain standard measurement. I am 7 centimetres longer than that measurement though, and so if I go by the recommended, things come out short on me. But also I have to consider that when I write the pattern, because those that are making it are going to be different again. They're not going to have a standard average size, which is why actually in a couple of places in the pattern I have given options about how you extend certain areas. It's very easy to make the body longer if you want to, and then again the straps and some of the heights of where things sit, I've given a couple of different options. And then this is my final sample. So this was not that one. This is a double knit made from Polworth wool. So what you should do when you're making it in wool is do a gauge swatch, because obviously with wear and wash it will stretch. I haven't done it with this one, so again it probably will stretch. So I think probably I'm going to have to remake this one, because those straps as well are going to always fall off. And so we come to the final one, which is the one I used as the instructions for the pattern. So it's got a nice low scoop neck, which is my main number one thing. Was I wanted it to be a low neck because I find it more flattering especially when you have bigger boobies. It is far more flattering to have a lower neckline, but in the pattern there's an option to raise it should you wish to, because not everybody's going to want to have it low cut. I used Fluffy Day from Hobby, which is marketed as an Aran weight, but I don't believe it. It's 285 meters per 100 grams, which is not an Aran weight. It's like a plump double knit, really, I would say, because most double knits are around 295 meters per 100 grams, whereas this is just 10 meters shy of that. So I would recommend using a true double knit for the patterns, so that it doesn't come up too big, because maybe, just maybe, I mean it's oh no, it's alright. What am I talking about? I am the top end of size 3. This is just like, you know, each size encompasses a few centimetres between them. So yeah, that's what that looks like. And then it's due out in a couple of weeks, okay? Because we're still in testing mode. I have sent out a feedback form for testers, who are a lovely bunch, I have to say. It's been brilliant having chats on Instagram, in our test group chat. Loads of sharing of feedback and questions and helping each other out, which is brilliant and exactly what it's for. It's the second time I've done that for a test, I think, and I would highly recommend it, because quite often in the past when I've done tests for designers, you're on your own if there's no group chat, and it's good to have a little support network, I guess, or quite a big support network when it's a garment, because you have you aim to have three. I aim to have 3 testers per size. So I have 3 samples of my See My Vest. And what's hilarious is that they look cool, they look really good, but personally, I get a nice cosy warm body, but my arms are cold. So I want sleeves on them. I don't think it's unusual to want to be warm all over, but I guess vests are popular. So, you know, I've done one. But not because I expected it to be popular or anything like that, but just because, as I said, everything aligned, and it was what happened. And I didn't know. What am I trying to say? I think you've probably heard me moan before that there's no point having a jumper with short sleeves or no sleeves, because you want to have warm arms as well. And I think I may have poo-pooed vests in the past, but I seem to be going through a phase of, well, you can't disparage something if you've not given it a go. So I've given it a go. Same with reels as well. You know how last month, whenever it was I did episode 98, I was going, reels suck, and I think I might have made a little snide comment about Instagram reels. I sort of thought, well, I can't really slate it if I've not tried it. So I've done 3 reels now, and I still hate it. It sucks. It's stupid and I hate it. But I can't rule it out, we'll see. I mean, if they're easy to do, like the ones I've done are pretty basic, and they're all really bad lighting and stuff, because I just didn't make an effort. But I begrudge being expected to do them and invest that much time in an app for very little in return. Like, I was expecting some sort of prize for doing it. I don't know. Thing is, it seems to be that your posts are hidden from most people if you don't do them. When I did them, I thought that maybe the Instagram would go, hey world, look at what this woman's crocheting. One of the things I did show off on reels though was my finished Rockmore cardigan. Don't know if you can see that. I'm pretty sure I have shown this a little bit before when it was being made, and I was a bit worried about it being too small, but yes, in blocking it stretched beautifully as I had imagined it would, but I did not do a gauge swatch, which is terrible, especially seeing as I've just written a blog post, which I'll link in the show notes, all about the importance of gauge and how you must follow it. It's a moment of do as I say, not as I do kind of thing, I think. Or, you know, if you are an experienced garment maker, then you can probably you've probably got pretty good judgment about how things are going to work. And so you do you, that's fine. But if you are new to it especially, I think it's so important to do gauge. Because what will happen is you'll get something that's a bit too short. But it's still wearable. It's very short. I think shorter than the pattern intended. This is a size 4. And I went up to a size 4 because I knew that the yarn I was using was not the same weight as the recommended pattern. So yeah, just heed my words basically, please. But I still love this, and I've worn it loads since I finished it. It's called the Rockmore cardigan, and it was in Pompom magazine. I think the winter issue just gone. I want to say issue 38. If it's not 38, I don't know. But there's some details, like this button band is just brilliant. It just works beautifully, and I like the sleeves as well. And when I saw that it's like a half treble slip stitch, I heard that and I thought, oh god, that's going to be a right faff to do. But actually, once you get into the rhythm of it, it just flew off the hook. This was a really quick make. It was my in-betweeny kind of project, and towards the end I really kind of sped up because I could see that I was, you know, you get to about the halfway mark and you go, oh, I'm actually gonna finish this. Oh well, in that case, let me pick up the pace. I'm gonna finish this like now. And so yeah, I really did. When I wasn't falling asleep doing card crochet, and I did some slip stitch ribbing on the wrist. And do you know what? Because you're working vertically and you only do like 10 or so slip stitches per row. These are half treble slip stitches, UK speak. But these ones, because you're only doing a few, it's much less arduous than if you were to do a whole cuff or waistband of them, which I would refuse to do. But yeah, it's a really effective method of having cuffs and whatnot. But yeah, if I had to do them all in one go, I probably wouldn't. I'd opt for a different style of band, I think, cuff or waistband, just to make it quicker. This one was lovely. It's some slip stitches mixed with a half treble again, like back loop only or something, but it just looks amazing. I had no issues with the pattern, following the pattern from the magazine. Worked really well. The only thing I did was make the sleeves 10 stitches longer, which I'm glad I did, because otherwise it would have been too short. It would have looked too small everywhere. Whereas having made the sleeves a bit longer, it looks purposefully cropped. I don't want all my cardigans to look like that, because it's not necessarily a good look on me. I don't mind low cut, but cropped. Anyway, this one I'm really pleased with. It's worked out. I've just about got away with that. I don't know. I'll put it away. I have a finished object. It's basically a granny striped scarf. Kind of like the Miu Miu one that is about £400. Whereas this one was the cost of 2 balls of the Fluffy Day yarn, which is probably about £4 or £5. So a tenner or £400 or £3.50, whatever it was. A tenner or £3.50. Tenner, £3.50. I look like I've been shopping at Miu Miu. I will write down the pattern if you want, but basically 43 foundation trebles, then a row of half double UKs, and then you granny stripe the hell out of it, and then you mirror the other end with a row of half trebles and a row of trebles. I filmed a video tutorial for it about 3 weeks ago, and it's still sat in a folder on my computer. I haven't actually made a tutorial at all, but I will, I guess, if you want. I do have a granny stripe tutorial though, but it's just got front post, back post rib on it. But it's funny, just a small detail like that, having not had it, one with it, what a difference it makes. Because this one looks kind of modern, whereas that one is... this one's like for young, trendy kids, whereas the other one's more grown up. Oh my God. At what point do you go, no, you're now old, sorry. Then I'm working on a cardigan. It's a puff stitch cardigan, but I'm going to do it, I think, so that the puffs are upside down. For some reason I prefer it. I prefer these, just that direction to that direction, and so that's what I'm going to do. And also, if you, depending on the side you work, the puff stitches are more obvious. See how they protrude, and they're little poofs on this side. I don't know if you can. And then on that side they're a bit more flat. Maybe it doesn't show well on the camera, but I can assure you that one side is whoosh, and the other side's a bit flat. But this is the back, and this morning I actually had as well a front panel that was directly worked onto this piece, and there's still some evidence of it left because I basically cut it off because I'd done a whole panel before going, not quite right, so I'm going to start again on it. Just, it was more about the shoulder drop length that wasn't working for me, and then also the shaping of the cardigan-y panel bit needed just some adjustment, not much but enough to make me go, I'll just start again. And so that's what I'm going to do. Look, I went wrong there. Glaring at me, it is that error. I botched the stitch count, and I figured that actually that will be like somewhere here at the end, so nobody will notice. So I botched the stitch count, and then I'm going to pretend it's not there. But just having it up in front of the camera, that jumped straight out at me. Terrible. So this is called Get Your Fluff On by Hobbycraft, and I think I've got a ball here. See, I'm still on a fluffy mission, aren't I? It's 44% acrylic, 26% polyamide, 15% merino and 15% alpaca. So it's got the warmth of those wools, and then the durability of the man-made fibres. It's extremely lightweight as well, so perfect for spring and summer evenings. And if I can get it done and written and tested, maybe by the end of May, that's a very tall order. It's the wrong time to release a cardigan pattern as well, but I figured that actually it would be quite summery really. I'm well behind, you see. I started its first incarnation in October, and then I had to put it away and I wasn't allowed to work on it. My own rules imposed there. And I recently got it out because I wanted to crack the grading on it, and actually I've done the grading and I just need to work up I can't believe I've done the grading already. I know stitch counts for all the sizes, so it's just a question of actually writing the pattern and making a sample. But I struggle with writing garment patterns because actually they are very difficult to do, I find. Maybe it will get easier the more I do it, but they are true head scratchers. But I just have to kind of power on through because I see it as a very personal challenge to get this. It's a slow mission. What's next? Did I say I was doing the Nomad Stitches grading course? It was 3 sessions over a couple of weekends. And if you do see it, I would thoroughly recommend it. I can't remember if I mentioned it last time, but it was really, really useful. And it built on the knowledge that I'd learned from the workbook from HG Designs Crochet. That's Heather. So if you don't know anything about spreadsheets, then Heather's workbook is awesome. And then building on that knowledge, I learnt even more about construction and shaping with the Nomad Stitches course. So I've got the tools to be able to do grading and garment design and writing. Putting it into practice just means that I have to use my brain a bit. Yeah. Oh. Did you see the book videos as well? I did the book videos. I said that might take me a year, but I thought, you know what, I'll do them now. And so that was the last video I put out, was about crochet books. What else? And the other, I've got two more things to talk about. In June, the beginnings of June, I'm going to the John Arbon Textiles Mill Open Weekend to teach a course. I was asked if I would do a crochet project, and I came up with a cowl design because it's only like a 3-hour workshop, and so it has to be something that's teachable within 3 hours, not necessarily completable within 3 hours, I don't think, but something I can certainly give everybody the knowledge of how to make this cowl. These colours I've chosen because it's in June and I wanted something summery, but also for some reason I was drawn towards summer in the rain, and I felt like these were summery rainy colours. It's Yarnadelic, and these are 25 gram minis, which are brilliant. I think 25 grams for minis for some reason is miles ahead of a 20 gram mini. You wouldn't have thought it, would you? But we can make so much more. I mean, I have 100 grams here. But it will be a corner to corner cowl. But I'm adding a twist to it, which I will tell you more about nearer the time. But I'm hoping. But the twist I've added means that the yarn goes for a bit further than it might otherwise. I'll just say that. I did some swatching on this. It probably will be a pattern that I release everywhere, but it will be exclusive to the open weekend for a while. So if you're local or willing to travel, then yeah, there's an open weekend at John Arbon Textiles in North Devon. It's in South Moulton, which is about just under an hour away from me. But it will be a lovely weekend. Lots of courses they're teaching. I think it's the first time they've done courses, and that's what I've been asked to do, one of a crochet workshop. But there'll be colour work lessons, and I think there's 3 or 4 different workshops, if not more. I think it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday of a June weekend, and I've got flyers downstairs. I'm not advertising it very well, am I? I'll tell you more about it next time. I'll see if I can dig out the flyers that I've got. But I mean, we're in March and it's not till June. But if you did want to book, I know that tickets have sold already, and there's only 10 spaces. So, might be worth thinking about. Actually, I would like to get stuck in, but as well as working on that cardigan, I've also got a commission on the go, which I'm using the Fibre Company yarn. I'm doing a lace weight project. I'm halfway through, just under halfway through. I've got a few weeks left of that to go. I might do some more of that tonight. I would like to not kind of butt up against the deadline. I would like to be finished with plenty of time so it's a nice leisurely make and not horrible and stressy, because right now everything else is horrible and stressy. So I don't want to make more of that. I do wish in 2020 we hadn't have said something like, oh, it can't possibly get any worse. Don't say those things. I hope you're all right, actually, because the world is ridiculously nuts at the moment. But if I stop and think about it too much, it becomes overwhelming and awful. So I can't even imagine what it must be like for those people that are more directly impacted than myself. But let's not go there, and I hope that's okay. And I'll just finish on one last thing. Where are we? We're near the end of March, and I wasn't going to buy any yarn for the first 3 months of the year, but I caved recently, and I bought the Mind the Gap yarn, which seemed to be all the rage a couple of years ago from sock makers. I have a hankering for learning how to knit socks, but I wondered what it would look like in crochet wrist warmers, and if the stripes would work up the same. Maybe if I tried the Companions wrist warmers, would the stripes be nice and even? I have a couple of increases in those, which would probably mean that the striping would be finer up the top than it would down the bottom of a wrist warmer. As if, you know, it's really hard. I haven't got the wrist warmer with me to show, but like if you have it here to here, then you increase. As you use more yarn with those increases, your self-striping yarn, the stripes will become narrower. So I'm not sure if that'll be a good look or not, but I have seen people make socks with these before, and they do look tremendous. So I'd be interested to see what that's like. Not that I'm going to do it anytime soon. And it's Blue Face Leicester, which I love. Trailing Clouds is the name of the dyer. trailingclouds.com. And that, I think, is where I shall love you and leave you, because in 10 minutes I have to go and get my baby from school. It's his birthday next week. I hope you're alright. I know I've said that already, sorry. Well, hopefully I'll be able to get this up and edited tonight or tomorrow, but I do have to work tomorrow, and I'm now a few weeks into the job that I was offered in October, and it took this long for handovers and things to get to me, for me to start the job. And it's a lot more intense than my old job. My old job is something that I was experienced in, trained in, and have a qualification in. This new job is different, and I have to learn an awful lot. And learning makes me super pooped. It's not that I can't do it at all, and it's not that it's hard. It's just there's a lot of new information, and I come home from work and I am zonked. The last thing I want to do is either pattern write, sit at my computer and edit, or any of the other crochet admin jobs. So maybe yes, I want to sit and crochet, but all the rest of the job as a crochet designer I don't have any desire to do. Plus it's just very busy at this time of year because it's birthday season in this family, which means organising parties and presents and remembering that it's also Mother's Day, and remembering that sometimes there are days when there's more than one person's birthday and you have to remember both, but your focus is on one and then you forget the other person. Right, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Cheerio, bye bye.